General Hospital's week of fire and reckoning. A deep dive into the spoilers for July 14th, 2025. Port Charles is a city perpetually balanced on a knife's edge, where love and danger are intertwined, and the past is never truly buried. For the week of July 14th, 2025, the precarious balance shatters completely, unleashing a firestorm of consequences that will leave no one untouched. From the hallowed halls of General Hospital to the darkest corners of the mob underworld, bombshells are set to detonate, relationships will be tested to their breaking point, and the very foundations of trust will crumble. This isn't just another week in upstate New York, it's a reckoning. We'll delve into the three most explosive storylines set to redefine the landscape of the show, exploring the character motivations, the devastating fallout, and the burning questions that will leave viewers breathless. A memorial marred by mayhem. The aftermath of Natalia Ramirez. The week begins under a pall of grief as Port Charles gathers for the memorial service of Natalia Ramirez. However, in a city ruled by competing criminal empires, even a moment of mourning is fertile ground for chaos. The air in the church is thick not just with sorrow, but with the suffocating tension of simmering violence. The presence of Sonny Corinthos, the city's most formidable mob boss, is a silent provocation, a stark reminder of the world Natalia was caught in. At the heart of this turmoil is Natalia's grieving son, Marco Rios, whose sorrow is rapidly curdling into a thirst for vengeance. Standing beside him is his father, Jens Sidwell, a man whose polished exterior conceals a ruthlessness that rivals Sonny's own. Sidwell has been methodically positioning himself as Sonny's primary adversary, and Natalia's death has become the perfect catalyst to escalate their war. For him, this memorial is less about remembrance and more about a strategic public display of grievance. The chaos is amplified by the latest headline from The Invader, a scandalous piece of journalism that Curtis Ashford was strong-armed into publishing. The headline brazenly asks the question on everyone's mind, a question planted by Sidwell's machinations. Did Sonny Corinthos kill Natalia Ramirez? This public accusation turns the memorial into a tinderbox. When Sonny, driven by his own complex code of respect for the dead, inevitably shows up to pay his respects, the scene is set for a confrontation. Marco, fueled by grief and the whispers of his manipulative father, is likely to explode, seeing not a man offering condolences, but the murderer of his mother. This event is more than a simple funeral, it is the public-facing battlefield of a private war. Sidwell's attendance is a masterclass in manipulation, as he plays the part of the supportive father while subtly directing Marco's anger and the public's suspicion towards Sonny. Every handshake, every somber nod is a calculated move in his deadly chess match. For Sonny, attending is a no-win situation. To stay away would be an admission of guilt in the eyes of his rivals. To attend is to walk directly into the enemy's trap, risking an all-out eruption of violence in a sacred space. This memorial service will not bring closure. It will be the explosive opening salvo in a war that threatens to consume the entire city. The unraveling of a family, Carly and Sonny's painful crossroads. The shockwaves from Natalia's death and Sonny's suspected involvement travel quickly, hitting the Corinthos family with the force of a tidal wave. Over at Carly Spencer's home, the fallout is immediate and deeply personal. She is, as spoilers reveal, utterly heartbroken. This isn't just about another casualty in the mob world. For Carly, it represents the crushing failure of her attempts to build a life free from the constant shadow of violence. She sees the cycle repeating itself, a brutal pattern that now threatens to ensnare the youngest and most innocent members of her family. A tense and emotional confrontation erupts between Carly and Sonny, with their son, Michael Corinthos, caught in the middle. Michael, whose own relationship with Sonny has been a landscape of loyalty, betrayal, and reconciliation, stands firmly by his mother's side. He has fought his own war to bring his father down, only to find a fragile peace. Now, that peace is threatened, and his protective instincts for his mother and his own family are on high alert. Carly's heartbreak is rooted in a profound fear that is all too familiar to her. Her primary concern is not for herself, but for the children. She confronts Sunny, her voice laced with desperation, about Sasha Gilmore's baby, Daisy Gilmore Corinthos. She knows that in Sunny's world, revenge has no boundaries and that children are often the most tragic collateral damage. Her pleas are for Daisy, for her own daughters Donna and Avery, and for her grandchildren. She has seen enough bloodshed to last a lifetime and cannot bear the thought of it touching them again. But Sunny, cornered and provoked by Sidwell, is in no position to back down. To do so would be to show weakness, an unforgivable sin in his world. He insists on pursuing his vendetta against Sidwell and his associates, driven by a need to protect his territory and his authority. This fundamental clash between Carly's desperate need for safety and Sunny's unyielding commitment to his dangerous life is the tragic, repeating refrain of their epic love story. His refusal to stand down, even for the sake of his family's peace of mind, is a devastating blow to Carly, confirming her worst fears that he will never truly leave the mob behind. Her heartbreak may push her to make desperate choices. The spoilers ask a tantalizing question. Will she turn to Jack Brennan? This mysterious figure could be a new ally, a law enforcement contact, or perhaps someone even more dangerous, a rival who could offer protection at a steep price. Carly's desperation could lead her to forge an alliance that could have unforeseen and devastating consequences, potentially putting her in more danger than ever before. A crisis of trust, the betrayal that threatens Trina and Spencer. Away from the overt violence of the mob war, a quieter but equally devastating drama is unfolding between two of Port Charles's most beloved young lovers, Trina Robinson and Spencer Cassadine. The foundation of their relationship, built on the ashes of Esme Prince's psychological warfare, has always been their profound trust in one another. Now that foundation is cracking. Spoilers reveal that a heartbroken Trina confides in her best friend, Jocelyn Jacks, about a stunning betrayal. She has discovered that Spencer lied to Drew Kane. While the specifics of the lie remain under wraps, the motivation appears complex. The video hints that Spencer felt he was doing the moral thing, suggesting he may have lied to protect someone else, believing his deception was a necessary evil for a greater good. For Trina, however, the why is almost irrelevant. After everything she has endured, being framed, her mother's secrets, and the constant threat of the Cassadine legacy, honesty is the bedrock of her sense of security. To learn that Spencer, the man she trusts implicitly, has lied to a respected figure like Drew is a deep and painful wound. Her conversation with Jocelyn will be a pivotal moment. Joss, no stranger to complicated relationships and moral gray areas with her own love, Dex Heller, is in a unique position to offer advice. Will she encourage Trina to understand Spencer's motives, or will she validate Trina's feelings of betrayal, potentially driving an even deeper wedge between the couple? The situation is complicated further by Trina's father, Curtis Ashford. A man who has dedicated his life to a code of justice, Curtis is furious with Spencer's interference, believing the young Cassadine is meddling in affairs far beyond his comprehension. This creates a painful family dynamic, with Trina caught between the man she loves and the father she respects. Curtis's perspective is understandable. He sees a young man with a history of recklessness playing with fire, and he fears Trina will be the one who gets burned. This storyline masterfully explores the nuances of betrayal. Was Spencer's lie a selfless act of protection or a selfish act of arrogance? Can love survive when trust is broken, even if the intentions were good? Trina is at a crossroads, forced to decide if she can forgive a lie told for what Spencer believed were the right reasons. The answer will not only determine the future of her romance, but will also shape the young woman she is becoming, forcing her to navigate the complex moral landscape that defines life in Port Charles. The week of July 14, 2025, is poised to be a landmark in General Hospital history. The convergence of these explosive storylines ensures that every character will be forced to confront their demons, make impossible choices, and face the consequences of their actions. As the dust settles from Natalia's memorial, Carly's heartbreak, and Trina's shattered trust, a new, more dangerous chapter for Port Charles is just beginning. The city is a powder keg, and the fuse has just been lit. Viewers can only hold their breath, and watch it all burn. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.